yesterday?
I don't know. They're gonna give it to me on. I can pick it up on Monday.
Oh, cool.
So I'm excited about that.
Yeah.
Hopefully it'll work out. Because I bitched about the fact that people are saying like, yeah, football doesn't really work very well. It's too sensitive. Blah blah blah. No,
What doesn't work well?
Apparently, shooting football, it's too sensitive. It just picks up everything, and it doesn't work very very well.
The autofocus?
Huh? Yeah. So I heard that from like a lot of the Japanese people who are using it. So I said, okay, well that's interesting. But they said like for anything basically like for like with a single object or a single participant, it's just wonders. They said it's absolutely fantastic.
But you know what? That actually makes a little bit of sense because for shooting rodeo, it was fantastic.
Right.
And I shot football on Saturday, and there was definitely an adjustment to it. Like the settings that I had for rodeo were way off for where it needed to be for football. But I think they just in the new firmware they added back the 9-point.
Yeah, because apparently the 20-something point
it was 20. It was 21, I think, before, and now you can do 9.
So we'll see if that's gonna fix things.
I switched to it, and it was definitely better.
Okay. All right, let's do this.
All right.
Bro. Yes, it's go.
You asked for it, you get it. Ryu and I will rip your photos into smithereens. Hold on to your headphones. Here comes the pain.
Pain is my legs after yesterday's photo keynote bonanza. I just have to say, there's 2 things we have to kind of discuss before we start very quickly. One is that if you've never been to photo keynote, you should definitely go. I think if you like gears in general, which I think probably 99% of people who's doing this job as a sports photographer or as a hobby, loves that kind of stuff, you should definitely go. It's really worth it. You have so much fun. And you get to see the city of Cologne. The second thing is that Matt and I will notice that Hangouts on Air is finished. We're still using it through YouTube Live, but we need to find an alternative to kind of record the training ground. So what we are doing right now is that I'm hosting this Hangouts on Air, and then Matt comes in and he's talking and I'm talking, and we can just record this. And the recording then goes directly, when it's done, goes directly to YouTube channel, and you can see it over there. So I would like to know if anyone out there who's very smart, because we're basically not smart enough to come up with any sort of solution at this moment. If you knows anything about this, please let us know. You can email us at saveme@biglensfastshutter.com, and that is saveme@biglensfastshutter.com.
There has to be screen sharing involved, not just video calling and recording, but screen sharing also.
That's super important. Screen share. All right, we're screen sharing, and we're gonna go with Michael Mozza, who's shooting football, guy pointing fingers, guys throwing. I think it's okay, but it's not really extraordinary. It's very super, it's all right.
This is kind of where spatial, the dynamics in the space matter. Like if you had been in a position where the guy who was pointing much closer to the ball or to the guy or something like that, it'll be better. But having all that space in between, it dilutes the impact. So really, it just it minimizes both things. Like they're not working together because they're so far apart. And also, don't filter your pictures like this.
Yeah, it's Instagram. As we go along, I need to find where this thing is. There you go. It's read. I mean, immediately, what I don't like about this is that the railroad tracks is basically the main thing. So that should be, to me, centered. Like the rails should go exactly like it should be like all balanced out. So there should be there should be equal distance between the rail and like the edge of the thing and same thing, and it's not. And that really bothers me out of
Yeah.
anything that should, because that's the biggest thing of the whole thing, you know. And I think it's a bit too tight as well.
Yeah, well, yeah,
And the
right.
the rider is not good either.
Right. So trying to be a little bit positive, because I think we've seen like a little tiny flicker of Reed maybe getting it after a really long time.
But I think this is a really good idea. If executed well, it's right. Super. Yeah.
And that's, you know, that's where the flicker of it is. The idea is better than the other ideas. The execution is closer. So what this picture is about is that it's basically a silhouette, but you have the reflection of the tracks setting off against the silhouette and the darkness of the, you know, what's in between the tracks and on either side of the track. But you can't make a picture where you have like converging lines like this or diverging lines, you know, in a different example, and not have them be square to the composition of the frame. It's just that's the first thing that jumps out at you, because everything else is dark, but you have the reflections off of those things. But then, you know, one of them is riding up the side a little bit and the other one isn't all the way to the corner on the bottom. So, you know, that's a problem. You need to compose more carefully. And then I'm trying to figure out what happened here. Were you late in taking the picture, or did you think that this one looked better than the one where he was in the middle of it? I don't know that he needed to be like, let's say you had actually arranged the tracks in the frame properly, like they both ran right to the corners. What I would want to see, even above having the rider in the middle, is being able to see the convergence of the tracks through the wheel. So let's say even this, like you didn't miss it by much if that's what you were going for, because you can almost see it there. But if you had done this, you know, an eighth of a second earlier or something like that, you could actually see those tracks converging through the wheel. And I think that would be more interesting than this. Everything matters. Like, you know, fractions of a centimeter matter in the composition of something like this. And when it's not like a peak action moment or something like that, and you do have full control over the composition and the timing and all of that, you really need to nail it. And this isn't. So
it's really a shame, because I'm just imagining like if everything's like all straight and like all balanced out, and you can basically like, if you just wait here the entire, like, you know, for however long you can wait, like, you know, 5 minutes, 30 minutes, you can make so many variations, like a lot of riders, only one rider, all these things basically just on one setting, because you just want the silhouette, you know. You can even make it darker, and it's just
right. You could have made it darker, and honestly, yes, having more riders in there, if they were all dark, but you still had the reflection off of the track, that would have definitely been cool.
Yeah, but the thing is, like, he could have done so many variations off this.
Yeah.
Pick and say, okay, this works, this doesn't work, and it just feels really like a rush job. You know what I mean? Yeah. What a shame. What a shame. It's boring. I think it's like, you know, what Matt says usually, like, it's like you're shooting American football, and like, you know, there's always gonna be a guy who's gonna be carrying a ball and like running. It's kind of like that. So it's gonna be the peloton. See, I know the term. Like groups of, you know, cyclists bunched up in a cycling race, and it's not interesting unless the guy in the front. I think if you want to, like, us to kind of focus on the guy in the front, it's really interesting and really sticking out, then I think, and also a bit more centered, no? If you're gonna do it that way, then I think that makes sense. But he's not, doesn't really pop into my head.
Right. There's not enough separation. There's not enough difference between his jersey and everybody else's jersey. You know, this, looking at this picture, like the most interesting part of it is all the feet on the pedals, you know. So what can you do? Shoot with a longer lens, and do a detail of all the front wheels and the feet on the pedals or whatever. Like that just seems more interesting than trying to fit it all in like this.
Yeah. Agreed. Oh, we're moving swimmingly today. I know Matt's gonna say it's too dark, which I do agree.
No, yeah, this is not good. This is not good. When you're I've shot rugby before. It's not very much fun to shoot. Like the field is too big, and a lot of stuff happens when the players are all bunched up together. It's not easy to shoot, and it's hard to get like really interesting pictures. And this, I do like the guy's eye looking up or whatever, and his hand still being on the ball, but it's not enough. And it's just too dark. Like this picture isn't improved by having that guy's face all the way underexposed like that. I get that he's in his shadow and the ball isn't, and the ball's white and he's darker, but that's your problem. That's your problem to solve. So it just ends up, what are you going to do? Well, you could crop this tighter and boost the shadows and maybe pull down the highlights a little bit. You don't need the extra legs. Like this picture is this guy's expression and his hand on the ball, and then you throw in like the two green socks on the left hand edge. The rest of it isn't helping. Like those other legs, the green sock on the right and the striped socks on the right, those aren't helping. It's not adding anything. It's not balanced. They're not visually interesting. It's not really helping. So there's just more wrong with this picture than you can really hope to fix. Like if you're going to be shooting like this, you need to be shooting tighter, and you need to be mindful of where the shadows are and adjusting the exposure according to that. Extra body parts or whatever, unless they're so overwhelmingly extra. Like if there was no, let's say on the right hand side of the frame there was no grass, like it was just legs, just dudes coming in for a scrum or whatever, then that's different because you have like more uniformity in what's going on back there. But just having three legs on that side of the frame just makes it look kind of sparse, and it just, rather than adding anything to it, it's taking away from it.
I mean, the thing is, like, I think on first look, I thought, oh, that's interesting. And like, I looked at it again, and if I had this photo, I throw it away. And the reason is that no matter how I cut it, I think there are things that I cannot fix. Like, I think if I try to crop it tighter, I just think the balance will be gone, because I think the balance will really be the fact that it's between the guy, the main guy's two legs, and the socks, the different color socks is really distracting from the whole thing. And I'll say, oh, okay, I almost had it, but it's just not gonna happen. Like it's just, I don't think I can actually make this any better. So, I mean, I guess you have to go and shoot another rugby match and be lucky next time. I like this. I really do. I think it works very well, and it shouldn't be here. It's not this level of stuff that we have to like kind of really nitty picky details that we have to kind of talk about. For me, at least, I don't see anything really humongously wrong with it.
Why is it so dark? Why are all these pictures underexposed?
I think it's fine. Do you think it's too dark?
It's definitely too dark.
No, I'm fine. I'm fine with it.
If that guy in the background is the picture, why is he so dark?
Maybe you're looking through the screen. That's probably why. Like the actual photo that I'm actually looking at is not that dark. So you have to go and have it. I don't think it's that dark. So that means if it's only dark, then we have to say goodbye to you, Simon West. It's been a long time. Farid Mokhtar and biking. I think the competition is really bad.
I mean, this is a disaster. This is a disaster. This is like this is you're walking along and your camera bounces off your hip and takes a picture while you weren't looking.
Yeah, it's not good. For those of you like who want to like kind of, rotate your camera in weird angles to shoot things. I even actually had a conversation recently with Van Lim, who I think was one of the very early U-Win winners. We used to like interview U-Win people, and I think she's very, very talented. But she's going on this really weird, like, I'm going to like basically like turn my camera to like, so it's not really straight, so it's a bit like angled, and it's bad. And it's really, really distracting. I think people's like human beings' eyes don't really do very well when things are not straight.
It's a shortcut. It's a shortcut that covers up lack of creativity.
Yeah,
is what it comes down to. It's not. This isn't an answer. If you do this and it works, you'll know right away. Like there are times to break the rules, right? There are times to not have a straight horizon, but you'll know when you get it, because it won't be, oh, the only thing that I'm looking at this picture for is because it's tilted. No, it'll be because everything's working, and the tilted part of it is just one part of it. But back to this picture, this picture could be straight, it could be tilted, it's still not going to work, because what do we have? Well, it's like, what's going on in the foreground? It doesn't even look real. Like, it looks like it was blurred out in Photoshop or something, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's distracting as hell. Not that it would matter one way or the other, it's still just asphalt, but the way it looks like that, it looks like you just very sloppily did a blur tool in Photoshop. What else?
It's
well,
really bad. It was a really shit picture.
Yeah, it's way too dark. That sign that's like, like not even straight in the background. It's just like a sponsor sign from a different race that they just left there or something like that. Tree, that the shrubbery or whatever on the right that doesn't need to be there. And then like what just makes it extra sloppy are the bikes behind, that where you can just see the front wheels of those two other bikes.
Oh yeah.
It's just, this is like the least composed picture I think that I've ever seen. Like, it's just nothing is working for it. It's just, this is really bad. This is, you need to be way more careful when you're composing this and make sure that everything that's in the frame is working towards the picture. And if you have a foreground that looks like that, or if you have a foreground that you need to Photoshop because there was something really distracting in there or something like that, yeah, I don't, was it painted with a logo or something like that? I don't know, but this wasn't the place to shoot in if that was the case.
Ugh.
So yeah, this is, you need to go back to the drawing board and shoot something from a position where something interesting is going to happen, and that everything that you're fitting in the frame is working towards making it a better picture, not working towards making it a really, really bad and distracting picture.
Towen actually emailed me today. Well, I think he like sent me a Facebook Messenger and said that thank you for the Photokina post. By the way, that fucking post, I wrote everything on the train coming back from Cologne back to Berlin on my fucking 5-hour delayed because some person committed suicide on the race. I breathe true on the railroad tracks, so I got an hour delay. And I came back and I lost half of it for some reason, like it wasn't saved correctly. And I almost cried, so I didn't finish it until this morning. Yeah, it's bad, huh?
Yeah. I mean, we've seen good pictures from him, and this is not one of them. Here's the thing. You can't cut people's feet off like that. Like, it's just an automatic failure. You can't you can't do that. I can't think of one picture that is going to be okay when the feet are cut off than if they wouldn't be. Like it's not, this isn't a rule that you can break, right?
No.
It's just not, it's not a rule you can break. You know, beyond that, the background is really, really bad. Like I know that they're putting boards in the background so that specifically so that they'll go into pictures, but you need to figure out a way around that. And whether it's, you know, using a longer lens with a wider f-stop that can blur it out more or something. I don't even know if that would help in this case, but yeah, it's most likely going to be a different angle. But you can't have those guys talking in the background. You can't have the cones. You just can't, you can't have it. Like there was most likely never going to be a picture here. So anytime that you spend shooting from this position to get like a splash or whatever, none of that was worth it.
No. It's a shit picture.
You have to make sure that wherever you're shooting from, there's at least a possibility of having a good picture, and that there wasn't there. This is good and doesn't need to be here.
Yeah. A couple of things bother me, but it's very, very small stuff. So I seriously don't really have the energy to like go over small stuff. And you should really know at this point that if we say something like this, then that is good and you don't have to be bothered.
I don't really have strong feelings one way or the other about this. You know, it's I don't know, shooting in rinks like this where the light sucks this bad is just going to be problematic. And then shooting through the net where, you know, part of the net could be in front of the face, you know, kind of takes away from the overall impact of the picture too. I don't think that I need to see that much of the goalie's jersey, really.
Yeah, it could be less, huh? I mean, it could be like half of his body and not the entire like 3/4 of his body.
Yeah, I don't really know. I don't know. Maybe this is a vertical instead of a horizontal.
Maybe. I mean, the thing is, like, it's okay. Like, it's not like I can't really like take anything away or kind of add to it and say like this is gonna like dramatically like if you do exactly the same thing, like you should compose differently or you should write this and that. The idea, like, I cannot like come up with another idea that's very similar to this. It's going to be much better than what you've done. I just find it very boring.
Yeah, it's also tough because it's hard to get a shot and the puck, you know, like the follow through of the stick and the puck coming at you like that and get it all in the frame at the same time. Like there's something to be said for that, but then again, the puck is black and his pants are black and there's not that much light in there in the first place, so it all just kind of fades.
Or you can like try to see if you can actually get the same, you know, person to be on the other side of the frame. And if he's doing that, then he might actually, you know, might be, I don't know, give it a try and see how it goes. But I just kind of think this like entire idea, I find it very boring. So.
Yeah, I mean, really, what's the ultimate test? Like, is something like this are people gonna stop and say, oh my God, or is it gonna get printed as a 2-page spread somewhere? Or, you know, it just doesn't have that kind of impact. So I think Kevin's at a higher level than this. I think, you know, there are some people who would definitely take this. I just think Kevin's at a higher level than this. And so, you know, I don't know. It's tough. You got to figure out something to do when you're shooting in a rink like this where there's really shitty light like this. Like you just need to, you know, kind of go for it a little bit more and do something where that light isn't going to be working against you so much.
Yeah. I like the idea.
Yeah, I mean, you know, if this was taken in a gym where there was a ton of light and the floor was shinier or something like that, like we've seen.
Yeah,
we've seen some.
Good enough, you know.
No, it's just you know, like the idea is there, and I've seen other people have sent in.
Yeah, I've seen
basketball pictures. Well, no, they've sent in basketball pictures, you know, that were just basketball pictures that the floor was glossier and there was more light bouncing on them, so any reflection would be more impactful. But the lack of light here and the lack of glossiness in the floor takes away from how much the reflections pop out. So,
and it's one of those things you could be there the entire game. Not like you should have like a couple of test shots and see like if it does look good at all. Like if the reflections look good at all, not just like what's going on in between. Like, not about what's going on with the feet, but just reflection purposes. You can really just like take a couple of shots, like takes 2 seconds, have a look. If the reflections look good, I think you should go pursue it and really find great. I think you can do great stuff. But if it's not, you just say, okay, that's it. Doesn't work with this one, and move on. It's very, you need some courage to just like say, okay, this doesn't really work with me today, and I'm not going to really, spend any time on it because it's just going to be shit anyway. No. Like, my eyes wander around, and it's not very, very good wandering. Like, if I just like saw that girl on the right, just her, with that expression, with that like light, and that was the entire photo, I think I would love it. I think it's really, I love the light, I love her expression, and it would just be great. But to me, like, it's the fucking number whatever 20 something on the left, and the black, the other opposing team or the referee, that just kills it, completely kills it. So no for me. This should have been in the garbage. It's sad because everything else kind of worked, but the major disappointments in the left and the right hand side.
Yeah, I don't know what to think about this picture. Like, I don't necessarily agree with you. I don't think that, like, the light's good, but just having a picture of her in that light, I don't think is enough to really make it like a sports picture. So for me, having the other player in it is what makes it a sports picture. The problem is then that it's too tight for what it's supposed to be. Like, I like that the light is hitting that other player. I just wish that you could see more of what was going on, or that it was a different moment or something like that. Like having it be light dark ordinarily would be a good thing. It's just it's so hard to tell what's going on in this picture that like is one person playing and the other person's not playing. Like, I can't figure why she's running while the other person is just, the other two people are just standing there.
Just scratch my back.
It just doesn't, the picture doesn't make any sense to me, is really what it comes down to. Like, the light is good, but if you're shooting in light like that, then I want to see more interesting pictures that take advantage of the light, that aren't, this picture is just incomprehensible. Like, I can't figure out what's going on. And then you reduce it to, well, what do I like about it? I like the light, and I like the pattern of the light areas and the dark areas. But then if you just reduce it to her, it's not a sports picture. And if you use all of this, then it doesn't make any sense to me. So it's kind of in no man's land on a couple different axes.
I'm fine with this, sir. It's fine. Shouldn't be here. Huh?
Yeah, it's fine. I don't necessarily like that she's right in the middle of it, but
I like Avar to like kind of do something crazy. No, I think he's kind of like got most of the stuff like really down pat. He doesn't really need to like show us like what he can do, like what he can do right now. But I want him to like really like do some weird stuff, like experimental stuff, and kind of push himself, because that and this, like, he can do this. No, like, it's not a problem for him.
yeah.
So
I don't know, but I mean, even this isn't really composed all that well. Like, having
okay,
all that space on the left side that's not.
I really don't like. I like the space on the left side.
No. The crowd is okay. The field and the video board aren't okay.
Yeah, I'm okay with it. No, it's just like I want to see a bit more out of him at this juncture. Like, I really want him to like start doing some stuff that like you're not comfortable doing. For instance, like I just want you to kind of push a bit more and find out what you can do, what you can kind of like learn, and that's always difficult. I think if you know you can do up to like point A, you're going to kind of go and do something completely different, like not an extension of what you know, but completely different. It's very difficult to even find the idea, but that's going to be what's going to make you a good photographer and an ordinary one. So I think Alvaro really should start doing more stuff that is not going to make him comfortable. I don't like the right side. That's about it, really. Matt Cohen.
Yeah, well, it's the same as that rugby picture. It's just extra legs. I mean, you don't even need all of the kicker's plant foot. This picture is kicking foot, ball, hands, holder's face. That's where yeah, well, you got to figure it out, but it definitely does not include the two legs on the right edge, and it probably doesn't include the kicker's plant leg. It's extraneous.
I realized that, like, I think when you compose it, the ball was actually in the middle, but the fact that it was when it was kicked, it moved. So I was just kind of like, yeah, move it so that the ball's in the middle, and like that's what people's eyes go to, like not to the extreme right and left. I was moving along very well.
It's in the last one, the holder's face is good. That's
well. He's on a kicking spree now.
Yeah, no, I like this. This doesn't need to be here.
I like this as well. Like, I've seen this so many times, so I don't really care. And the fact that, like, it looks like it's like his foot is cut off, but it's
the running theme in all of these today is bad composition. And it's not horrifically bad in most cases, but it's bad enough that it's noticeable. I don't need to see an inch of sky at the top of this picture. I don't need to see it. And what that means is that you left not enough room at the bottom and too much room at the top, and you need to get better. Everybody needs to get better at figuring that stuff out in real time. And part of that, if you don't want to risk it, like say you don't get to shoot something like this all the time, then shoot a little bit looser. That's not a long-term kind of solution. That's just, kind of to try to teach your eye how to manage the space in between the top and the bottom of the frame. Ideally, you don't want to shoot looser as a crutch or whatever, but if you needed to make that interim step, then you should do that. But when the first thing that anybody is going to see when they look at this is, wow, his foot is really close to the bottom of that edge, and wow, there's a lot of empty sky on the top of it. Beyond that, the impact of this picture is muted by the timing. So what do you want? You want the defender higher than this or you want the ball like just going over his fingers or something like that. Like by the time it's here, it's less interesting than it was when the outcome of the play was more in doubt. And then, if this guy caught it and made any kind of turn towards you, then that would be more interesting. But the way it is, like just having his back to you and having the defender clearly already have missed the ball just kind of sucks the energy out of it a little bit. What's good about it is that he used, there's enough depth of field in this that the background isn't really competing. Like you can definitely tell what the subject is in this picture. Like a lot of pictures like this, you would end up being able to really see what was going on in the background, and here it's blurred out enough that there's separation.
I wish it was wider. To me, I wish it was a lot wider. But you can like wider, but wide enough, like not involved. You can't like really see the other players. You just want to see these two, but wider. And I don't know if you could have actually done that, but yeah, I'm not too crazy about this picture. It looks like a really good blurry mess to me. And I don't like the position of the feet either, you know? Like I think when you're pedaling, it seems like running. There's like positions that looks like they're really exerting a lot of, force to whatever is going on. And it doesn't really look like he's actually doing anything. Maybe he isn't. Then that's not really good either because you kind of have to like make it a bit more exciting. It just looks like a blurry picture to me, and that's it. And I don't like the fact that like the legs are going to cut off in a really weird position as well. And I don't know, like if you wanted to do this, then
this is also kind of where you want the light to be going through the dust in an interesting way, and it's really not here. Like you would want it to be really low and have like the dust be really well defined, and here it's also kind of a blurry mess.
Yeah. I mean, I don't want to like just say it's a bad idea because I'm sure there's a solution to making this into a good one.
It's not at all a bad idea. It's just that it needs to, like, what it needs is a very specific set of things. It needs to be, the light needs to be coming at an angle that really defines everything instead of making it mushy. That's what you have here. Like the rider's in the shadow of it all, but there's light that's bouncing off the dust, but it's bouncing off of it, not towards the camera. So you want to see grains. You want to see. I
think it's a composition problem.
What the composition in terms of where it's cut off, yeah, composition or timing problem in terms of where the feet are, in the rotation of it, but it's a light problem in that you have dirt, and if you want to make the dirt look interesting, it can't be like this looks like a cloud. What you want is the light coming in there where you can see like beams of light or something like that, or the individual grains of the dirt.
Yeah, do it again, didn't they? Show us another version of it.
Yeah, this is good. I don't think that this needs to be here.
Yeah. No.
This is not good.
I mean, the thing is, like, if I didn't read it was called Fingers Crossed, I wouldn't even notice it.
It doesn't, like, you need to release the fact that some tiny little detail in the picture that is insignificant overall. Like, if this is your daughter and you think that's a cute thing that she does or whatever, then this is fine for her scrapbook or something like that. But we're here to make good sports pictures, and her having her fingers crossed doesn't make it a good sports picture. If she was doing something ridiculous and the angle was interesting and the background was interesting and the action was, the peak action or whatever, and she had her fingers crossed because she does that all the time, then we could talk about that. But that's literally the only thing that's happening in this picture, is that she has her fingers crossed, and that doesn't make it a sports picture. This is not a sports picture, really.
And that has to, like, if the fingers crossed, like, if that's what you really want to make it, like, kind of push into the forefront, then you have to, like, make that into the thing and not having people to, like, kind of, like, find out, like, what the hell is going on, what's the significance of all these things. Like, oh, she's got her fingers crossed. But I mean, if the title wasn't that, I'd be looking at it thinking, like, okay, well, what is she doing? She's not doing anything. I wouldn't even think she was crossing her finger. Like, for instance, like, you see, if it's fingers, like beach volleyball, you see, like, people, like, doing signs on their ass or their back.
Yeah.
Like that, then you're focused completely on the finger because that's where you're supposed to be focusing your eyes on. But
a hand on a tennis racket or on a steering wheel of a car or something like that. But just it's not enough, and that should be pretty clear.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. These are pictures that you're holding close because it's your family or whatever. Think about if you saw this picture of somebody else's family, you wouldn't be interested in it. And that's why we're not interested in it. That's why nobody who's looking at this is interested in this. it's a kid who's not like, those aren't even like athletic shoes or whatever. He's not wearing a uniform. Nothing interesting is happening. There's no, you don't even get like a expression out of it or whatever. It's just, it's your kid or whatever. And so you took a picture of it, but you need to be making sports pictures, not family pictures.
It's not a family album, website. I mean, like, if you want to like do this more, yeah, there's plenty of things you can actually. It's a very good time to like, tell us what the website was called. Like, I'm so tired. BigLensFastShutter.com, and you can go there, and there's so much shit that you can read and listen to, and you'll get a lot of good, advice on how to make you a better photographer. So if you want to learn more about sports photography, please go to BigLensFastShutter.com. I'm actually going quite fast today. Same. That's it. Add some stuff. Is there anything? No, there's no housekeeping stuff. No, we're pretty much done, right? Next podcast.
Yeah. Patreon.com/BLFS.
Yeah. So if you like just kind of wandered here, like, I don't know, by accident, or if you've been a long time listener, if you haven't paid up, we have teamed up with Patreon, and what we do is, well, what not we do, but what you can do is you can basically pay us per month, starting as low as $5 per month. You can go as high as $200, which is crazy, but well, we'll appreciate if you do that. But basically, for a price of Netflix per month, you get, your training ground, and you get your podcast, and you get occasional biannual blog posts from me and everything related to how to become a better sports photographer. So if you're interested, please go to patreon.com/BLFS. And we really appreciate all the people who are Patreon pledgers, and we want more people to listen to our show and more people to pay up. What I would like, what we both, man, I would like for you guys who are already like pledging on Patreon, it would be really great if you can go and talk to your friends or families or anyone who's really interested in sports photography, but they really need advice, and they're going to like these shitty like photography forums, and there's no one basically like answering their questions besides other amateurs. But if you can basically then tell these people, hey, there's a great website that has podcasts and videos, that'll be really great, because more people there are, the more money we get and more motivation we have, because we're really money driven people at the end of the day.
We're also very busy, and we have to consciously make time and synchronize our schedules to be able to do this, and it's not an easy thing. So if you give money to us, then it makes it more worth it for us to make the sacrifices that we need to make to do this. It's not a lot of money. This is a very expensive game. Even if you are coming in at the low end, you're still spending thousands of dollars to do this. You're still spending a lot of time to, go to these events and shoot them and edit your pictures and put them up and all that kind of stuff. This will absolutely be the lowest expense that you have. Like, even web hosting or whatever is more than what we're asking for here. So if you haven't done it, it's it's fine. We understand, but we've made it painless for you to give us money. We're not asking really for all that much. We do provide a pretty valuable service. I think a lot of people who have been with us for a while can attest to that. So, if you like this and you want us to keep doing it regularly, then you need to go to patreon.com/BLFS and pledge us some money.
Yeah, money is good. All right.